Okay, K-Day Nation, I'm excited about this one. This is why I'm wearing my Dodgers, if you guys don't know. We have Jorge and Jaime Jarrín in the studio with us. Thank you guys so much for taking time. I know you've been busy.
CeCe, it's great to be here.
No, thank you.
For inviting us. It's a pleasure for me and for Jorge to be here today.
No, you don't understand. Do you understand that you are legendary in the Latino community? This is crazy right now.
I think he has a little idea of it, but we're just so happy to be with the K-Day audience and tell them about everything that's going on and just sharing it with you on your program.
I love the fact, let's talk about it right now. So since launching in 2019,
yes.
Your foundation has awarded over $200,000 in scholarships. What drives you guys to keep expanding this mission?
Well, after 64 years as the Spanish voice of the Dodgers, when I decided to retire, I was looking for the opportunity to help Jorge, because he has been in charge of the foundation since it was founded in 2019.
Yes.
So now that I am semi-retired from the Dodgers, I am paying my full attention to the foundation and helping Jorge, because I know it's a great cause. I have seen the need, of helping the young kids to go further in their education.
In their education. It all started back in 2019. I had been working side by side with my dad in the Dodger broadcast booth as of 2015, and working with him up close, traveling with the team, traveling with my dad, going on the road, doing play-by-play. Not only did I continue to gain an appreciation for what he has accomplished,
right,
but at that time I was thinking, as he had been now with the Dodgers over 60 years consecutively, more than Vin Scully behind the microphone in Los Angeles. Vin's career started in New York, so the first 8 years of his career were with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Then they came to Los Angeles. But my father had been behind the microphone for 64 years in total. I knew that he was coming to the end of his career, and I was thinking how to maintain his legacy as an immigrant, as a Latino, being involved in so much in the Latino community, not only through baseball, but with also big seminal moments covering President Kennedy's assassination and funeral, being at the border with meetings between Nixon and the president of Mexico. So it was more than just that. And I realized, I said, we have to do something to continue this legacy, to hold him up as an example of success, that si se puede. And then my mom died unexpectedly at spring training in 2019. And in talking to my family, we thought this would be the best way to honor her memory of generosity. My mom was a very positive, typical Latina mother. Always, her sons are the best as far as she's concerned, but always letting us know how blessed we were. And we never felt neglected because my father was always on the road. And in honoring her, we realized this is a great way to also maintain that legacy. So we began the Jaime Blanca Jarrín Foundation in 2019, and of course, what happens? COVID comes along and stops us in our tracks. So we thought, we can't fundraise for scholarships at this moment, but what money we had raised, we partnered up with the LA Regional Food Bank, and we bought 268,000 meals for people affected by COVID. Then after COVID passed, we resumed our focus of putting together a scholarship program for young students. This year, we're going to give out the largest amount of scholarships we have given out so far, $73,000 this year in 17 scholarships that we have funded. We have exceeded $200,000 total in, and you know what? These are figures that kind of sound impressive, but my dad will be the first to tell you, I wish we were giving out 100 scholarships of 20,000, of giving out millions of dollars if we can. And, as my mom used to say, hey, you can't solve all the problems of the world, but you can try.
Yes.
You can try.
And you described Blanca's just so perfectly, because that was my question. Like, how does Blanca's spirit and her legacy live on through the foundation? But you just said it. You know what I'm saying? Chingona, loves her family.
Yeah.
And very generous.
Yes.
I love that.
It's crazy how time changes. My mom would have been, if I used the word chingona, she would have, right away there had been soap in my mouth. Hey,
I'm a different generation.
it's a
We
different
give these
generation. I know. And I tried to explain that to someone just recently, the euphemism and what it actually means. But words are important. Words
Absolutely.
count. And the words that are coming out of Washington these days has distressed my father, my family, all of us who are Latinos, who are immigrants. We have been distressed by the events. So how do we fight back? How do we make ourselves heard? How do we make ourselves at a point where we can really change things? As I said, Dad was distressed when he saw the federal agents at Dodger Stadium trying to gain access to the parking lot so that they could plan their programs and what they were going to do. And the Dodgers said, no, you can't come onto this property.
I was so glad when the Dodgers did that because, Dodger Stadium has been my home for 60 plus years.
Right.
I was at the Coliseum before Dodger Stadium was open since 59. So Dodger Stadium was open in 62. So it's my home. It has been my home for 64 years. And to see federal agents trying to get in and establish a central operations desk over there, I said, no, that's not right. So I was extremely happy to see that the Dodgers refused that.
Do you feel like because you are the Spanish voice of the Dodgers and what's going on right now, there's a lot of weight and eyes on you and seeing how you're going to handle this? I would imagine.
Well, yes. Now, we have to take into consideration that the Dodgers are in a different situation than my father and I are in. The Dodgers are a blue chip corporation that makes millions and millions of dollars every year, and millions of dollars that come in from the Latino community who have been so supportive of the Dodgers. And at first, most people were like, well, where are the Dodgers? Why are they not saying anything? What's going on here? Come on, don't let us down. Are you with us? You have to realize that as a large organization, they can't be hasty. They can put out a statement, which they did, but they wanted to do more than just put out a statement. They wanted to back that up with a very important effort of which they gave $1 million to organizations through the city of Los Angeles, local offices in Los Angeles who are working with impacted immigrant families. Now, my father, though, is a different situation. We're just private individuals. So at that point, my father was traveling in South America, and we reached out. And we said, Dad, we got to say something because we can't just stand on the sideline. To be standing on the sideline quiet is to be complicit, to almost give approval. And at the same time, I have to tell you, I was very worried because I don't want my father at his age of 91 to be harassed for his position, for his statements. But we felt that it was more important to say something. So we wanted to choose our words carefully and to inspire others to march peacefully, but to march, to turn out. You can't ignore 7 million people across the United States when they turn out to lift their words in protest and say, we're not going to give in to the fear. We're not going to be intimidated. And what's more is I want this energy to continue, but I want people to remember to go to the ballot box and vote. That's
Also,
where you can make a difference.
I would like to clarify one thing. In my 64 years in front of a microphone, the Dodgers never told me, Jaime, don't say this, say something like this. The same thing goes right now. They haven't told me, Jaime, I'm sorry, you shouldn't, you are still with us, say this or say that. Never. It's a great thing that they have been able to work very freely without any pressure from them or from anybody. I appreciate my community because they have supported me for 64 years Because in this business, if you don't have the numbers, you don't exist.
Exactly.
And we have that depth to our community. They have been so loyal to me. They have been behind me. They have honored me so many times. But the best accolade that I can get is, when I am going to the bank, going to the supermarket, many people approach me and say, Mr. Jarrín, I want to thank you because thanks to you, I spend more time with my grandfather. Thanks to you, my father used to take me by my hand to the back of the schools and to the house, so my mother can keep watching the telenovelas. And thanks to you, my mother loved baseball, loved Hugh's voice, and that really, really, really means so much to me, more than any other accolade that I can get. To give something back to the community. And one of the reasons why I have stayed so long with the Dodgers is because the Dodgers having an organization that really cares about the Latino fan base. They really care about the community. That's why they have spent millions of dollars building fields around Southern California. 62 baseball fields they have built. And they want to give back to the community, and I am sure that on this occasion they will be in front.
Right
there.
Well, I'm glad that they donated the $1 million. I'm glad that they finally came out and they did put out a statement. Now, you've praised the protesters who've actually taken to the streets.
Yes.
And protested. I was one of them. We had organized a protest in Linwood, and it was peaceful. We contacted the Linwood Sheriff to let them know. We made sure that everybody stood off the street and they were on the sidewalk, and we did it the right way. But my question is, what comes next after that? What's the real change that needs to happen? And who do you think needs to lead that real change?
I think that is a grassroots effort. That's most important. When friends and neighbors talk to each other and say, hey, let's go show our support, even if it's just walking for 10 blocks. But you were there. You lend your presence to a cause that is so important. But again, and you brought up a very good question, where do we go from here? The midterms are coming up. We have to send a message to Washington to say that we don't agree with the policies that are being carried out at this time, that we're not going to give in to fear, that we're going to raise our voices, and we will continue to do so. Even if nothing changes at the midterms, then we continue until the next election comes up.
Right.
But we have to work together. We have to be peaceful. We have to work with our law enforcement officials, because what we don't want to happen is, and what we saw, you were there probably during the day, but once it gets dark and it's at night and it's 8, 9 o'clock and the vast majority of the peaceful protesters have gone home, there are groups that want to exploit this situation, that will steal our voice, will steal our message through vandalism, through rioting, through setting vehicles on fire, through throwing rocks at the police. And doing that, it just plays right into the hands of those that want us out of this country.
Right.
We have to show Washington that we're united, that we're a community that really, really have great goals, and we have to be united. That's very, very important, extremely important.
You have to let your elected officials know that you are aware. If you're silent, then they think that they can do whatever. But we have to let them know, those who see us and are with us, we have to support them. Those who are not, then they have to realize how many of us there are that are not in favor of their points of view. We have to support the Alex Padillas. We have to support our local officials, and it starts at the local level. It's not just the senators and the congressmen in Washington. It's at the local level. This is where the changes begin. I remember Javier Becerra coming to my door when he was just a young man of 22 years old, running for his very first election, saying, "Excuse me, but I live not far from here. I'm running for Congress. Would you be willing to?" And I said, "Yeah, come on. I'll hold a little get-together of my neighborhood and introduce you to all," after talking to him and seeing what his position was, then we organized and said, come on out and meet this candidate. And that's how Javier got started. I remember, discussions with Gloria Molina and talking to Hilda Solis. I remember when Hilda Solis was a graduate from USC, and she received an honor at the Biltmore Hotel as an outstanding Latina student. And she was so honored, and she said, I am especially pleased to be here tonight because I have my mother with me. But what you don't know is my mother cleans rooms in this hotel. She is a maid here. And she did everything she could to see that I had everything. And look at Hilda and the example that she has made of herself and her life. These are the people we need to support. Yeah. These are the people that need our help, and they're the ones who are in a position to make change. Don't be intimidated. Don't give in to the fear.
Absolutely. It's that you literally answered my next question, because it was like, what would you say to young immigrants, undocumented students in LA who feel like right now they feel like the system is stacked against them? They feel like they're being held down right now.
Right.
How do you inspire these brilliant, beautiful minds to keep going, even though it feels like the world hates you right now?
We come across students who are not only as you described them, but they also work 30 to 40 hours a week while going to school. In many cases, some of them are single parents. Some of them are trying to maintain a family and work hard. And what I say to them is that we see you and we want to invest in your future. This is the whole reason why we have this scholarship fund, is because not only do we want to help people get their education, but we want them to know that someone like Jaime, myself, others of the foundation see them, recognize them, and are willing to invest in their future, whether it's $2,300, $5,000, or $12,500, our highest scholarships that we give out. We have three different levels.
One of the toughest things that we have to do is when we have to sit down and we have to see those applications. It's hard. It's very difficult for us because you see cases that really can't believe it. People that wanted to improve themselves, but they don't have the means at all. I have been very close to the community, so I have seen with my own eyes how difficult it is for many families to support those kids going to high school and going through college, junior college and college. So that's one of the reasons why I think the foundation is doing the right thing right now. Not because it carries my name, but what really fills me up is the fact that it carries my wife's name, because she was an unbelievable lady. She supported me so much. She never complained about my absenteeism, never complained about being away so much, and she practically alone helped my kids to grow up. So I am so glad that the foundation carries my wife's name.
67 years of marriage.
We were married 67 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I was 18 years old and she was 19 years old when we were married, 1953.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's your soulmate.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I love it.
So we have started our application process for this year. And for those of you who are interested, I encourage you to go to losdefensores.com or losdefensores.com/scholarships. Okay. It sounds just like it, you write it out just
like Los Angeles.
losdefensores.com/scholarships, and you can apply. And our application process has started this week and goes until July the 20th, at which time we will start looking at all of those. And then what it is, it's a simple application. It's very easy, 5 minutes to fill out, but you answer 2 essay questions about what you have done in the community, what this scholarship would mean to you, what is it that you want to do, and then out of that vast group, we cull it down to a smaller group where we ask them to submit a 2-minute video talking about themselves, their hardships, their challenges, the positivity that they try to impart back into the community, and then we make our selections. And we focus on, we have 2 primary scholarships, $12,500 each, for a journalist student and for a law student, whether they're in law school or finishing up to go to law school. Then we have 5 more scholarships of $5,000 each for anyone who wants to study anything. It doesn't matter. You don't have to necessarily be law or journalism. It's open to all undergraduates. And then after that, we'll have one more round of 10 scholarships at $2,300 each for a total of $73,000. But we couldn't do it without Los Defensores because my father talks about being behind the microphone 64 years and now is in his starting his 67th year as a member of the organization. There's nobody in the Dodger organization that's been there longer than he has. He was there, he's longer than anybody. And then he's been with Los Defensores for 40 years. Los Defensores is a cooperative legal marketing firm that has a network of attorneys all across the nation that speak Spanish to help the Latino community. So this falls right in part with helping the Latino community. Los Defensores was the very first organization to step up and said, Jorge, we believe in what you're trying to do. We're going to write a check for $50,000 to get you started. So that was our seed money. And we have been fortunate that the Dodgers have been very, very supportive with us as well. Ultimate Health Services, a great health services organization in the community, has been a past sponsor. We have Rotolo Chevrolet. We have Nuna, the high-end baby carriages and strollers, is a sponsor. So I welcome sponsors from all over. If you share our dream, if you share our passion, go to the HarrinFoundation.org. You can find not only an opportunity to purchase tickets to support our gala event at Dodger Stadium on August the 19th, where we're honoring Nomar Garcia Parra, John Suhu, the great photographer for the Dodgers, but if they want to become a sponsor, if they want to help us raise money for scholarships, because this is a year-round effort for us, I welcome their attention. I welcome you to come and help us out. And we have support from all varied types of levels of business, from attorneys to Taconazo. I don't know if you're familiar with Taconazo. Everyone knows Taconazo. Guisados has been a big sponsor of ours as well. So there's room for more, and we need all the help we can get.
And I love that your 2 scholarships are, have to deal with, lawyers, legal and journalists, because how different would LA look right now if we had more lawyers and more
also,
Latino
I have
journalists?
to clarify one thing.
Yes, sir.
The scholarships are not only for Latinos, because we can't say it's only for Latinos.
Yeah, right.
So, but
it's for everyone.
99% of the applicants are Latinos.
Are Latinos.
But you know what? I love that too, because I have been part of, and I have been the brand ambassador for almost 10 years now with the Black College Expo.
Yes.
And so we were doing that. And then the founder of the Black College Expo, Dr. Teresa Price, she started seeing at one year was like a lot of Latino students, right? And she's like, oh my goodness, there's a lot of Hispanic students here. And so she was like, why are you guys here? This is the Black College Expo. And they're like, we don't know where to go. So she said, oh my goodness, they didn't know where to go. So she created the Latino College Expo to help out. And the first year, it was like, we thought it was going to be a little bit bigger and it was very small, but I told her, don't worry, keep doing it. Consistency is the key. And I think 7 years later now, well over 15,000 students.
Isn't that amazing?
It's crazy, but it's amazing. And I've seen mothers that don't even have a kid that's going to college. Mm-hmm. They bring their kids with the strollers. And they're walking around. I said, oh, you have a kid? No, it's because my kid needs to see this, and my kid needs to grow up and know that there's resources and to see that other children are going to college. I want my kid to be I've seen parents that they don't have kids going to college, but they'll bring their kids to the Latino College Expo to give them that exposure to what's going on.
Absolutely.
One very important thing is that we should approach the parents of kids there to be sure that they are bilinguals. Mm-hmm. Because don't forget about your mother tongue, Spanish. It's a beautiful language. And the opportunities for students who speak 2 and 3 languages, it's amazing. It's amazing. So try to learn English. That's the most important thing. For us, I came to this country as an immigrant, as an adult. To me, the proper age to come here to this country and not have many problems with the language is to come here when you're 12, 13, 14 years old. When you start coming here 17, 19, 20 years old as an adult, as I did, it's tough to conquer English. It's the most important thing for an immigrant to come to this country. Try to learn English as fast as possible, as good as possible, but at the same time, don't forget your own language.
Yeah.
Because if you are bilingual, you will have more and more opportunities. And also, I would like to appeal with all my heart, if you don't have the proper visa, please don't come to this country. It's tough. It's very difficult if you are here without any papers. It's tough. So if you decided to come to this country, try to get your papers, your visa, whatever, to come here legally, because otherwise every day will be more difficult for us to stay here.
Right. And sometimes, I feel like the system makes it a little difficult.
It does.
To get your visa.
We have to reform our immigration policies. They're in dire need. Unfortunately, both the Democrats and the Republicans are very guilty of kicking that can down the road, letting someone else worry about it down the road. And we've come to a point where we can't do that anymore. And you brought up a very important point. Why attorneys and why journalism? Well, let me give you just an example. We look at the state of California, our population. We're over 49% now Latino in the entire state. 6% go to law school. Only 6% go to law school, and only 3% finish. Only 3% of all the attorneys in the state of California are Latinos.
Wow.
That's a figure that does not reflect the community well. We have to change. There is a problem when you only have 3% Latino lawyers in a state that is made up of 49% of its residents are Latinos. So that's important. That's why
Absolutely,
we're trying to
yes.
affect these changes.
So I have one question. I'll let you go with this. This year's theme is the power of believing. So tell me a moment in your own life where tell me about the time someone said, I believe in you, and it helped change you. Because that's so important to hear those words, I believe in you.
Yes. Actually, I'm going to turn that kind of around. It's what keeps me going, because after the 2020 season, we got a World Series. I've been hoping for that all my life. My father has, 6 now? 6 World Series. But it was my first World Series where I got my ring. And I thought, that's it. I don't have to do anything else. I've done everything. I had a 38-year career in broadcasting. I was a Dodger broadcaster. Now I'm going to enjoy my retirement at the age of 65. And then this happened, and I became head of this foundation, and I realized that it was going to require an awful lot of work. I'm almost working more now than when I before retiring, but it all became worth it when I had our recipients telling me, and we have it on camera on our website, the difference is that you saw me. The difference is you recognized me and you were willing to invest in me. It doesn't matter what I've accomplished. What I've accomplished, that's personal. That's me. I've been very fortunate. I've been very blessed. I owe so much to my father, to my mom. But when someone else tells you that, that's what keeps me really going.
I hope one thing. I hope that people will remember me as a person who came to this country without money in the pocket, only with high goals to achieve. But I want them to remember someone who really put it 110% of the time in what I was doing. The only thing that I was able to offer to the audience was my image, my name, my face. And I lasted so long with the Dodgers, so long with Los Defensores, because I speak with my heart. And I have done well because I love what I do. Many people say that I don't look 92 years old. I look like 75, 80, 82 years old. I think that's because I love what I do. And it was a great blessing to be able to do what I love to do. But at the same time, I was very careful with my image, with my name. So try not to get in trouble and anything like that, because I knew that the community was trusting in me.
Yes.
So it's very important. So I hope they remember me as a person who really put in all the efforts to do what I wanted to do.
And a person who is so loved, so loved
Thank
by
you.
the community of Los Angeles.
Thank
We
you.
love you. Thank you
Thank you,
guys
CeCe.
so much for
Oh, you
stopping
are
by.
wonderful.
This has been my complete honor. And thank you so much for what you're doing for the Latino community, for our Latino students, the scholarships. It's so important. I tell them all the time, they're our future.
They are.
They're
Yes,
going to
they
shape
are.
what our community is going to look like 10, 15 years from now.